Thank you very much, Sir David, and it's a pleasure to serve under your chairmanship. I ask you to imagine the scene a few months from now. I can finally go out to a restaurant to catch up with a friend of mine for a real meal instead of the dreaded Zoom meals we've all become accustomed to. At the door, we're both asked to show proof of vaccination. One of us is vaccinated, the other is not. I'm allowed entry, my friend is not. Is that really the sort of country we wish to live in? One in which we have two tiers of rights and discriminate access to goods and services on the basis of health status. Now, too often in this debate, I'm told, well, if everyone has the chance to be vaccinated, it's their own fault if they turn it down. This fundamentally misses several points. There are those who cannot be vaccinated, perhaps for health reasons, or indeed, as a newly pregnant constituent emailed me, she and other pregnant women won't be able to get vaccinated whilst they're pregnant, and if she's able to breastfeed, she won't be able to get vaccinated for the duration of the time that she is breastfeeding either. Secondly, at present, none of the vaccines are authorised for adolescents. Are we saying that teenagers shouldn't be able to go to the cinema with their friends or join a family meal, a family pub lunch? The groups who are least likely to take up the vaccine are among the most marginalised, and they will become yet more marginalised by vaccine passports. These passports are essentially a way of making vaccines mandatory. Coercion is never a good way to build trust and persuade people to do something. I would also question whether we are offering false and perhaps even dangerous hope. As the Ada Lovelace Institute says, the vaccine passport is premised on the assumption that my vaccine status tells you something about the risk I pose to you, not simply the risk I face from COVID-19. But as yet, we do not have conclusive evidence regarding transmission, and no vaccine will ever be 100% effective. Furthermore, we know that vaccines' efficacy may be diminished by new mutations and variants of COVID-19. So a COVID vaccine status would not be of a fixed or standard duration applicable to all countries. And I'd like to end by blowing out of the water this idea that vaccine passports are the key to opening up our economy and society again. The relentless focus on vaccination to the cost of everything else has been the hallmark of this government's approach to the coronavirus since the pandemic began. We have seen from Taiwan, Australia, New Zealand, that it is possible to lift restrictions on our liberties with robust public health interventions, both at our borders and through an effective test, trace, and isolate system. Our focus should be on the 20,000 people a day not self-isolating, not putting in place a discriminatory system by a government which has proved time and again that it cannot be trusted with personal data. And as we are seeing today with the police crime sentencing court bill, a government that has once encroached on our liberties under the cover of a pandemic is not minded to hand them back easily. Will vaccine technologies be switched off once they are no longer needed? To quote a member of the Ada Lovelace expert group, once a road is built, good luck not using it. Thank you.
Mr. Grogsmith. Thank you, Sir David, and it's a pleasure to serve under your chairmanship.